Yeah, good morning. Glad to meet you all through this video. Uh, As we look at what is the expectation of people in coming to God, when we approach that question in the first century, we will look at what the people who are with Christ expected for. The apostles, the disciples, what did they expect for? They were, when Christ was crucified, they left him and they went. They lost their hope. But then, after resurrection, when they were told that the tomb was empty, they went and saw, but they did not believe. But Christ appeared to them multiple times, made them to touch, feel, and he ate with them. And they were convinced that Christ rose from the dead. After getting convinced, what is it they are expecting from God? If you look at that, the book of Acts, chapter 1 and verse 6. They're asking, Lord, is it at this time you are restoring the kingdom of Israel? So they are looking for revival in their current situation. They were under Roman slavery and they're asking whether they'll be freed from there and the kingdom will be established. So their expectation is from their current circumstances. But God, what does He say to them? Jesus is saying to them, Acts chapter 1 and verse 7, He said to them, it's not for you to know times or epochs which the Father has fixed by His own authority, but you will receive power, and you shall be my witnesses, both in Jerusalem and in Judea and Samaria. So He is saying, you don't worry about your current circumstances here. That is, the Father, in His time, He will do it. But then, I have a plan for you, and God has a purpose for you. He has a very specific plan and purpose for each one. And He will give you power, and you will be my witnesses, taking on the kingdom of God. And they move on to taking His kingdom. Now, for us, after 2,000 years, what is it God is looking at from us? He has set unique purposes for each one of us. When you come to look at Apostle Paul in the book of Philippians, he has set, it is the guidelines for Christian life. In the Philippians chapter 1, he talks about the philosophy of Christian living for himself. So when he is writing this book, he was imprisoned. He was in the Roman prison. And the Philippian church was very concerned about his being in prison. And they were worried about him. So they have sent a gift to him. Having received the gift, he wants to write back to them. And what is his concern for them? He is concerned that they will stand in the life which Christ has given them. In Philippians chapter 1 and verse 11, he's saying, and from verse 9 onwards, and this I pray, that your love may abound still more and more in real knowledge and all discernment, so that you may approve the things that are excellent, in order to be sincere and blameless until the day of Christ, having been filled with the fruit of righteousness, which comes through Jesus Christ to the glory and praise of God. So he is praying that prayer to them. He wants them to be to the praise and the glory of God and not to be too much concerned of him or his situation. And regarding his circumstances, what is he saying? From 12 to 14, he's saying that he's in the prison. But in verse 13, he is saying, for it is God who is at work in you, both to will and to work for His good. I'm reading chapter 2 and verse 14. It is in 12, chapter 1 and verse 12. Now I want you to know, brethren, that my circumstances are turned out for the greater progress of the gospel. So now here he is considering his circumstances as an opportunity ordained by God to take the gospel, the life which God gives to man, and it is in a new place, he says that. So in his circumstances, he is looking at as the life being given to others. And in verse 15 to 18, he's talking about preaching of the gospel. He's talking of the preaching of the gospel. He's saying that uh, different groups of people seeing him in bonds, they also get boldness to preach the gospel. But some do it to cause harm to him, but some who are intimated before are taking the life of Christ to the people. So he's saying, however they are doing, the gospel is being preached, irrespective of on what intent they are doing. So what is important is taking the life that is being given by Christ and taking it to others. And then the rest of the verse, he's telling that he's talking about his commitment. He says, "For me to live is Christ, and to die is gain." So he has ordered his life, whatever happens, to others or to himself. His life is to glorify Christ and to take that life to others. So that is a great example for us in our circumstances, in our various situations. Can be difficulty or can be good situation, but the glory of God and taking that life to others is the most important thing. Thank you.